All right, so today I want to talk about living without reason. I know it sounds very ridiculous. It sounds like I'm just trying to be different, trying to talk in a different way, trying to grab your attention by stating something very ridiculous in the beginning of my podcast, whatever. Whatever you think this is, so be it. I mean, what I am going to talk about is exactly what I just said, which is like living without reason. And it starts from so let me start from my own experience, which I am in the middle of right now. What I have been experiencing for the past couple of months, it's been very harsh, and I thought that by using logic, I'm gonna be able to make the best decision. I'm not gonna fall into traps. I'm just gonna be able to, be logical and get rid of these emotions that I might have that might get in the way of my success, right? We all want to become stoic. We want to become zen. We want to numb ourselves in some ways. Not specifically numb, but like in so many ways we are capping our emotions in the name of becoming stronger, becoming resilient, becoming mentally tough. That's not mental toughness. That's not. You not being able to experience joy, you not being able to experience aspirations, a moment of just wild inspiration and enthusiasm isn't what we call mental toughness, okay? Mental toughness is being able to experience all of your emotions and not push them away and stay with that emotion even if it's super intense, that's like breaking your back in a way. I'm not saying that you have to like indulge in making yourself even more emotional and stuff. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is different, which is like when you are going through an emotional moment, you have to think about that. Not even think, like you have to let yourself feel it. You have to let yourself understand that like it is a very temporary state of your physical body, and it's gonna go away, but it's telling you something about you. It's telling you something about what you have internally. Like your internal being is giving you this as a signal to let you know if this situation is in alignment with who you want to be, with who you are trying to become. And it's also a signal for uh, just following your calling. Sometimes we just ignore that because we're too busy just getting rid of these emotions, and we think that we can just like get rid of sadness and we're not gonna interrupt the process of okay, I'm talking in a very abstract way. Let me rephrase what I wanted to say, which is we think that by just capping our sadness and capping our anxiety, stress, all of those things, we're going to become much more happier. We're gonna become joyful because we don't have sadness, right? But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way because human beings have emotions in all ranges. Like it ranges from one side of the spectrum to the other. And if you want to have oversized joy sometimes, it's only possible in situations where you also experience not sudden sadness, but like a huge amount of sadness, right? If you have the potential to feel the joy of pursuing something that you absolutely love, then you also have the potential to feel so sad about something that happens. And by you saying whatever happens, happens, and life is just gonna change, if good times are, if you're in a good time right now, if it's good times in this era, there's gonna be bad times after this and all of that. So you don't have to like be happy about the good times that you have right now. That's what I really have a problem with. Because if you do that, then like, who are you becoming? A person that doesn't have any emotions. You're dehumanizing yourself. You're derailing your, your even moral compass is gonna go off the track, because now you're like capping that emotion that tells you about your morality, right? Like that emotion is a signal whether or not this situation is actually in aligned with what you really want, right? And so if you are not getting that signal, then you're not even a moral person now. You have lost your morality altogether. You have lost your sense of, your sense of self even, because what are we? We're spiritual beings. We have these callings, we have these irrational things that, irrational in the sense that it's not really clear to us what the logic behind it is, right? We feel a certain way and we feel pulled to a certain direction, but we don't know what exactly is causing that. We don't know where it's coming from. But that's what I'm trying to talk about, which is like, you have to listen to all the emotions, not just joy, because without listening to your sadness, you're not going to be able to experience joy either. And also, I wanted to say that thinking, if you want to think logically and you want to base everything on logic, you're gonna move very slow. You're gonna move very slow. Like you're gonna be always like thinking if this is the right step, or you're just gonna kill the curiosity out of you. You're gonna kill that sense of exploration out of you. You're gonna just like beat that out of you, because you no longer are going towards an adventure, as an uncertain situation that doesn't have any explanation for it. Like there's no explanation for why you're choosing that path, but you're going towards that because you're pulled in some ways. You're pulled and you're listening to your sense of joy, what really makes you you, and what you want to do. And wanting something to want something, it means that like when you think about that specific trajectory, that specific target, you feel joy, right? That's why you want that. And you feel joy because you know that the stuff that you're going to be doing along the way is your favorite things. They're your source of joy, and you're enthusiastic about them. And it's not because you're reasonable. It's not because you're a logical human being who doesn't have any emotions, who doesn't experience sadness. In fact, sadness can, like I'm talking about this, and I have like, as I'm talking about this, I am also getting so much insight out of nowhere, and there's no logic behind it, right? And what I wanted to say is that like sometimes sadness, huge amount of sadness, intense amount of sadness that like really brings you to tears is also a big source of inspiration. Sometimes after like a huge amount of crying, you all of a sudden wake up to the real, value of your life in some sense. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And I know that I do not have any way of convincing you that this is what we should do and this is how we should live. But I just wanted to say it because I've been lost and I've been searching for it in logic, whereas the reality isn't based on logic. The reality as we see it is far greater than logic. Logic is like a tiny bubble. But yeah, so that's it for today.